open your KeyMaster. Once you open your KeyMaster, you come to where you have image assets to bring in a plain background. Okay, so this is my plain background. I'll stretch it to required size that I wish to use. Okay, so once it's this, I can change the color from here to my desired color. So once you do this, you can click here and change it to any color of your choice, and this is it. And if you do not want to use this, if you have another color or a background that you've prepared or you downloaded somewhere and you wishes to use, you can just come to your layer, then media, and bring in the material, the background you want to use. So I have something like this. Okay, so and once this is it, I will stretch this, and this is it. I have this. Once that is saved, the next thing I want to bring in before I start my editing, because I want to flow with the music. So I'll come to my audio here to bring in a background music. So once I click on audio, I have tons of music here. I have before down, then better, these, and the rest of it. So you can just test one. Okay, so you test one it, the one that is okay with you can go for it. Now once you're okay with it, all you need to do is to click on this plus sign for it to be added. So I've added my music, like you can see now. So I have this. Okay, so after adding my music, the next thing I want to do, I want to start editing properly. So I'll come in here and bring in the first text I want to use. So I'll come to where I have media here. You click on layer. You click on layer. Once you click on layer, you come to texting. You type in what you want to use. Okay, so I have just what qualifies you, and this is it. If you're not okay with this font and you wishes to change font, you can come to where you have font here. You can click on font to change the font. Now for me, I'll be using Poppins. So I'll come to where I have sans serif, then I come down to where I have Poppins, these, and this is it. Okay, so I have this. So after bringing in this, the next thing I want to do is to animate my text. So I will come in here to where I have in animation. I want it to enter slide in left. Okay, so I have that, and that duration is okay, and I let it be. So after this, what qualifies you, the next one text is going to be a resident as a home. So I'll copy this text, click on duplicate to duplicate this text. Now once I duplicate this text, okay, I have the second base of this, then I'll click on edit to edit text. So I have residence. So I have this, what qualifies your residence as a home. I want it to be at the middle, so I can do something like this, then this is it. Okay, so I have what qualifies your residence as home. So if you play this, you're going to have something like this. Okay, and this is not how I want it to come in. I want it to come in one after the other. So what I would do is I'll shape this, come to residence, click on trim and split it left. Okay, so I have that. Okay, did you notice that? That's fine. Now I want this qualifying resident as a home to come in word by word. So what I'll do is I'll duplicate this, still duplicate it, and duplicate it again. And after duplicating it, I'll try to edit them because I want everything to be on a straight line. So I'll click on the first one and remove this. I have resident. Then try to resize this to fit into what I have here. Okay, so that is fine. Then I go to the second one and click on edit again, and this time around I just need ads. Okay, so I have this, I'll fit it in here. Okay, that's okay. Then the next one, edit. This time around I just need a. Okay, so I have this a, and make sure it fits in well. And the last one is home, so I'll come back to this and copy this text again, duplicate this text again, then edit it. This time around I'm taking this side off. Okay, so I fit in here to where I have home. Then I can now delete this one out. Okay, see, I have that. Okay, so have achieved this. Now I want to change the color of the home, so I'll come here, come to where I have my color, and change it to something of this nature. Change it to this, and this is okay. So I'll also change the font. I want it to be a little bit bold, so I'll still choose popping, but this time in medium. Okay, so once this is done, the next thing I want to do, I want to animate each of this one, and I don't want them to come in at the same time. So I'll come here as, then trim left, then shift a little bit to where I have a, and trim this a to left because I want it to come in late as well. Okay, so now as if you play this, you're going to have this. Okay, so I have this and it's nice, but I want to add more effect to it, so I will have to add a keyframe. Now to add a keyframe to this workpiece, you highlight this, then you see a key, then we click on where you have the key to add a keyframe. Okay, so I have this, I click on this, then shift it to this point where the beginning of the next slide, add a keyframe, then come back to the beginning and try to move this to this point. Okay, so I can click on this in animation and take it off. Okay, so if you are playing, have something like this. Okay, so did you notice that? Okay, so I'll do the next same thing to this very one, then this. Make sure it's on a straight line. Okay, so I have that. So if you play this, you're going to see something like this. Okay, so obviously now we achieve that. Okay, so having done this, we also have to decide to add an out animation to each of these clips. Now we're going to add an out animation. It's going to be scaled down. Okay, and we'll reduce the duration to about this. So we do the same to all of this. We add a out animation and we go for scale down and we reduce it to about this. So at this point, the next thing is you want to bring in the next animation. So we have without a, so you click on your text and you type in without a. Okay, so you notice this font here is popping medium, so you change it to popping light. Okay, so you have that. Next thing you want to do, you copy this, you add an in animation and it's going to be scaled down. Okay, so you have something like this. You reduce its duration to 0.5, then we had a out animation. I'm going to use fade and you reduce this, so you duplicate this and you type in the next thing you want to use. Okay, so here we change the font to be Poppins medium and we change the color to yellow, and this is it. Okay, then we arrange this well. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is to add a keyframe. So you click on the first clip, then you click on the key to add a keyframe, then you click on this plus to add, and then you come to the beginning of the text. You shift this red line to the beginning of this text and drag this to this point. Okay, so you have something like this. Okay, so if you play this, you're going to have something like this. Okay, did you notice that? Okay, so that is it. Then you do the same thing to this one. Shift it to the little, then trim left small, then you add a keyframe here as well. Okay, you stretch this to this. If you notice, I've not exceeded the whole of this piece. I just keep it at some point here. Okay, so this is it. So if you are playing this, I'm going to have something like this. Okay, did you notice that effect? Okay, so this is it. So to make it blur like the entrance when it is coming in, you have this blurry effect. So you come to your layer, then your effect. Now if you do not have this effect, you can go to your Play Store and download this effect. So I'm going to use the mosaic blur. Okay, so I have this and try to size this to about this point. Okay, I have something like this and I want to make it to be very short, so I'll come down here and trim this part off, trim it right. Okay, so I have this. So did you notice that blurry effect? Okay, so once this is done, the next thing I want to do, I want to bring in the next text I want to use for my work. So I will type in the next text and animate it. Okay, I have this. Let's cover your enormous range. I'll animate it as well. Okay, so I'll come to in animation, then this time around I'm going to use scale up. Okay, I will duplicate this and edit this to have a okay, so this is it. Then I'll change the color to halo itself. Then this is it. Then I'll add this, trim right because I need it to come in very short and snappy. So this, okay, to have this chromatic move. So you can download this chromatic move on the store. Then I won't fail to reduce this because I need it to be very small. Then I'll trim right. Okay, so that is done and we are done with that. So once that is done, the next thing you want to do, you bring in the next available material. Okay, so we drop this, and this time around we will have to change the color of this. So we come to our layer, then media to bring in the next background we want to use, and this is it. Bring in something like this, then we stretch it, then we can adjust the color to fit exactly what we want. Okay, so we have this, and once we have this, then I'll add an effect. So this time around I'll come to my effect and I'll come to blinking lights. So you can download that. Okay, so I have something like this. Okay, then at this point I will cut it, the remaining part off. So I'll click here and trim right. Okay, so once that is done, the next thing you want to do, you still need this text, so you duplicate it, then you drag it down to the side, okay, to this point, then this is it, you bring it to this point here, then you do same to the next text, so you have over 40 bodies, you duplicate it as well, then also drag it towards here, and you have something like this. Then you change the color to black, something like this. Okay, so this is it. Okay, so we have this. So once this is done, the next thing is you want to bring other materials. So you click your layer, then media to bring in your furniture that you've downloaded. So in this case, I'll come to where I have these, and these will what I downloaded. So having this, I will click on cropping. You go to cropping, then once you go to cropping, you click here where you have this to change the shape of this. So I'll click here where I have mouse, then I'll click here where I have shape and choose this circle, and I have this perfect shape. Okay, so what I'll do next is I will duplicate this image to about 5 places. So first I have like kind of 4 sample, and I'll try to change this one to different material. So click on this first one. I'll click on where I have replace here. You can see I have replace. I'll click on it to replace this with something else. The reason why I'm doing this so that I won't repeat the same process again. So I'll click on this, and I have something like this to replace. But then don't worry, it is said and done. So I'll click on the next one, image here, then still repeat the same process till you complete it. Okay, so once you replace all the materials, the next thing you want to do is you want to trim them all very necessary. So at this point, this is the first material that is going to come out, then we trim the rest of it. So from here we click on trim, split left, to do the same thing here. So at this point we've achieved this. So now we want to add an in animation. Before you add an in animation, please remember to cut off this remaining part. Let it be that gets a required size you want to use, then you cut off the rest of it. So it's done. Okay, so having done this now, will decide to animate my work. So I will click on the keyframe. I want this, and at this point I have this, so I'll click here, then bring it to in and drag this down because I want it to be coming up. Okay, so I drag it down. So if you play this, it's going to be something like this. So the next thing I want to do, I want to animate the rest of it. So I'll click on the keyframe, then have something like this. I'll have to make sure that every other of these is also have the same keyframe. Okay, so after adding the keys to at the same point across in all of them, the next thing you want to do, you want to start animating it. So you drag it at where you have the second key and you resize it to about this point. Okay, so you do same, you go to the next one and do the same thing. Okay, so you have something like this. So you have something like this. So you come to this other point here and do the same thing. You drag it out and you reduce the size. Okay, so this is perfectly done. You do the same thing. You drag it to the left also and you reduce the size, and you have something like this. Okay, so this is done. So once you play, you're going to have something like this. Okay, so did you notice that? So that's how it's actually. Okay, so you come here and drag this your text across this to have this. Okay, so we have this, we have this. Okay, so we put the next keyframe, and at this point we want it to all slide out, and the next thing were coming. So you click here and I still had a keyframe across all of it all. Okay, so make sure that the keyframe all are at the same point. Okay, so that's why I'm doing this. So at this point where you have the keyframe, you move it to the left. You do same to the next one. Then you move it to the left. Make sure it's on the straight line. Then do same here. Make sure you move it. Okay. So we have that. Then you can change this to this point. So once you play this, you're going to have something like this. Okay, oh, that was nice. Okay, so once you the next text you want to bring in is the how. So you come to your text and you type in your how. Okay, so you have this equal sign. You stretch this to the point you need, and you make sure it's by the middle. Then you cut this part of it, don't need it to big. Then you trim this part out. Okay, so you put in a keyframe also, and at the beginning it's coming in from the left. Okay, so at this point you still need to bring that your effect, and we are going to use the mosaic blur, and we have this, and we have to shape it well to make sure it comes in like this. Okay, so if you play this, you're going to have something like this. Okay, so once that is done, if you play this, you're going to have something like this. So did you see that? Okay, so that's it. So once this is it and this is done, you can add another keyframe here. Here you can move this upward. Okay, so that is it. Okay, so having achieved that, the next thing is still want to change a background. So I'll come to my overlay, then media, then bring in the next background I want to use. So I have this, and I will move this, and I have something like this. Something like this. The next thing, I'll go in to bring other resources. I'll click on my media, then I will come to where I have this and bring this down, and I'll keep it somewhere here. Now, if you want to know how I got this, you need to stay tuned to the end of this video, where I will show you how you can achieve this using Pixel Lab. Okay, so I have this. Okay, so once I have this, I will add my in animation, and in animation I want it to come in slide down. So I'll have this slide down, then reduce the duration. I have that. Then I'll come to my this and come to where I have my remove.bg. Now you can take off this, the background of this, using remove.bg. So if you don't have that, how you can go to your Play Store and download remove.bg, where you can use to remove background of any picture. So I have this, I have removed this background. So once you bring this in, we're going to animate this as well. So we keep it somewhere here and go to in animation, and we're going to use slide left. Okay, and that's okay. Okay, so we have this. Now the next thing we want to do, we want to bring in that blinking text. So you come to where you have here and type in your text. Okay, so we have here how. So next thing is going to, we will help you. So I'll come here and type we. Okay, so I have this then I'll change this font to monster right here and try to use this. So I use bold. Okay, so I have these and I'll stretch this. Okay, so I have something like this. So I have this here at this point here. Reduce this, then this is it. Then I'll come to where I have color. Before color, I'll come to outline to add an outline, then change the outline to white. Okay, and reduce the duration to +2. Okay, I have that. So having that, the next thing I'll come to color, then I'll come to where I have this here to reduce the color from 100% to 0. So I'll click here and drag and here is it. I have this. Okay, so once I have this, and I'm going to have this, so I have here. So I have something like this. So I'll click here and split. Then I'll come here again and split again. Then at this middle one here, I'll change it back. I'll add a color to 100 here. Then come back to where I have an outline and take off the outline. So if you play this, I'm going to have something like this. Okay, so did you notice that? Okay, so the next thing is we will. So I'll come here, click here and click on split here. Then drag this one, embed it here. So once it's having wheel here, so I'll drag this here down here and type in wheel and edit this to wheel. So this is it, and I'll do the same thing here. Then drag it a little bit, click on split, then come here, split again, then okay. So at this point I'll also change this, add color to 100%. Then I'll come back to where I have my outline and take off the outline. So if you are playing this, I'm going to do something like that. Okay, so did you notice that wheel? So the next thing is going to be help you. So I'll click here and I'll click on split and drag this down here, and the next thing is going to be help you. So I have here and I did this to help here. Okay, so this is it, and I have something like this. Okay, and I'll repeat the same thing. So I'll split here, then come down here, split again, and same thing, you go back to the middle one, then you add color to it 100%, then you remove the outline. Okay, so this is it. It's as simple as this. Okay, so once this is done and this is okay. Okay, so this is it, and you trim this other part off, then split it to take this part off. Okay, so this way you want everything to end, so you can come here too and trim this right, and also trim this part off and trim it right. Okay, so and I have this. So you want to apply out animation to this, and at this point sliding in right, so you can change the duration to very small. Then this is going to slide out or down, and you have something like this, and you make it snappy. So if you're having something like, okay, so that's how it is actually. So the next thing, go back and bring in the second layer, the next layer you want to use, and something you put the same process, and this is it. You click here and you have this background here, you have to read, and this is it. Then the next thing we do, we bring in the next one, which is something similar like this. Then we turn this with this. Okay, you have this. Then you click on your media to bring in your materials. So we have something like this. Okay, then you add your text. Okay, so that's it. Then you add this wheel and you repeat the same thing. You bring in the text, you cut at some point to reduce the duration, and that is done. Okay, so you repeat the same before you know. And now it's as simple as this. There's no two ways about it. So you repeat the same process. In the next of this clip, you change the background. You bring in this you've done, then you position it and you add animation either in or out or side or downward, and this is done. So this is the final outcome. Okay, so if you find this video amazing and thrilling, you can leave a like and comment below. Then subscribe to my channel if you're new to get further updates on wherever I drop a video. You won't want to miss out on this amazing opportunity. Now, like I promised, for you to be able to create that slide here, like something like this, like I promised, you're going to use what we call Pixel Lab. So if you do not have Pixel Lab, you go to your Play Store to download Pixel Hub. Okay, so let's see how it is done using Pixel Hub. Okay, so this is it. We have here Pixel Lab. Look at it here. So this is the hub. This is the icon of the hub. Like you can see here, we have Pixel Hub Lab. So once you click on your Pixel Lab, you click on it to open. Once you open your Pixel Lab, you're going to have something like this. Okay, to begin a project, you're going to have this. So this is a Pixel Lab. So initially you're going to see something like this. You can come here to change the size of your image to suit into whatever size you want to use, or if you're comfortable with this font, you can as well use the font. So we take off this text and delete it off. Now you want to create a shape, so you can come down to where you have this here. You click on this to create a shape. And once you click on this, you come to where you have shapes here and you click on the shapes here. Okay, so I'll click on the shapes here, and once I click on the shapes, you can see we have this. So you click right where you have this to change the shapes you want to use. Now okay, I want to use something like, still going to use a rectangular like this. Then I'll adjust this. Then I'll come to where I have radius here to change the radius of the edges. So once I click here, you can notice this down movement is changing gradually. So I can do this. Okay, have you seen? I've changed the radius. Okay, so that is it. Now you can also change the color of this from here to whatever color I feel like using. Okay, so that is it. And with this is achieved. So this is how I actually achieved that shape. So you can place it somewhere like this. Then the next thing, you want to add those clips here. So you still come back to where you have your shapes, and this time around you're creating a circle. So once you create a circle, you can reduce this and you come to where you have fill color. Now once you come to fill color, you'll be choosing gradients. You'll be choosing gradients here down here. So once you click on gradient, you can see we have color and we have gradient. So you click down to where you have gradients here. Have you seen it as the red this thing has shifted to gradient. So once you have gradient, there are different gradients here. This was the one I created myself. Now for you to create a gradient, for instance, you have something like this and you want to create a gradient, so you come to where you have this plus sign. Now here we have two different colors here. Now if you look here, this is color 1 and this one is deep kind of thing. So I'll click here, you can see something like this here. This is color and this is color. Now for me to change the color of this side, I'll click on this side first. I'll click on this side first. I'll click here first. So once I click here first, I'll click color. Then I'll change this to a silver color I need. Then trying to change something like this. Okay, have you seen? Then if I'm looking for this to change the color of the side, I'll click here to change the color. Then once I click here, seen it has highlighted this yellow, then I'll click on color. And on this time around, I need something like this. So I can come here, shift it to something like this, and I have this. Okay, so once this is done, I want a kind of a straight line circle. I'll use my hand where I have this 0 to drag this down here. Have you seen these two shapes now? I've placed them in the middle to give me this what I want here. So once this is okay, I'll click on my okay, and this is it. My shape is ready. So I'll click here, size it, and place it somewhere here, just the way I want it to be, and I'll have it somewhere here. Okay, so once that is done, I'm done with that. I'll go back and create my next shape here. So I'll still come back to my shapes and still need a circle. So I'll click here and drag it small, drop it somewhere here. Then I'll come to where I have my color and change it to still the same yellow color. Okay, so I have this here, and the next thing I'll still need another circle. Then I'll drag it here, I'll still change it to circle here. So this time around I want to include a stroke, so I'll drag a stroke width here, and I'll change the stroke color to a gradient, and I can choose this very gradient. Then I'll come to the color opacity to take this off, so I'm just left with the color. If the stroke width is too much, I'll reduce it, okay, to something like this, and this is it, and my this thing is done. I can decide to adjust this to this, and I have something like this. Okay, so it's as simple as this. Back this to this somewhere. Okay, so once this is there, I want to export this image. Now if I'm exporting this image like this, it's going to come out with this background. No, I just need these shapes that I've created only. So what I'll do, I'll come to where I have here, down here, background here, to change the background. So once I come down here, click on that box, I'll come to here, I have transparency to change the color to a transparent background. So once I click on transparent background, I will click here to download the image. So once I download the image, you're going to see save as. You're going to see the format is PNG, meaning that it is only the image that you've created that is going to come out. So I'll click on save to gallery, and my image is saved. So this is as simple as that. So you can use it to create as basic shapes as you want to use for your project. So if you find this video useful, make sure to leave a comment on the comment section, like, subscribe, and also turn on the bell notification for further video that will come through this channel. Thank you.